So I've been taking a look at your homework, and I'm definitely seeing some mixed up ideas a little bit. It's a tough subject to be doing on your own, a topic. So I'm just going to walk through a couple of these homework problems, and hopefully it'll help see it a little bit better. The first one I'm going to do is number 2, and I'm going to do it 2 different ways, and then just stick to whatever way you see the best. So if we're doing number 2, one way to do it is you want to find the least common denominator. So looking at the number 2 here, that has a denominator of 1, and then the others have a denominator of 3x minus 1. So the least common denominator is that 3x minus 1. So one way to solve this is you multiply every one of those terms by the least common denominator. So if I'm taking a 3x minus 1 and I'm multiplying by each of those, we want to see what happens. So it's going to be distributed to that, it's going to be distributed to that, and distributed to that. What you see on that first term is they both have one up top, one on the bottom. So those cancel out to be just 1. So all you're left with is that x squared. Then when I multiply by that second term, so it's going to be plus 2 times my 3x minus 1. Because it has a denominator of 1, nothing's getting canceled out. So all I have is the 2 times the 3x minus 1. Then I have my equal sign, like I have here. And then when I multiply the 3x minus 1 times that in the denominator, this up top, that cancels out to become 1. So I'm only left with what's up top here. So it'll just be equal to 2x minus 6. Now I should be able to go ahead and simplify this. I'll distribute here. I'm getting an x squared plus 6x minus 2 equals 2x minus 6. I'm going to want to get everything onto one side, set it equal to 0, hope it factors, otherwise I'd have to do quadratic formula. So subtract the 2x, getting x squared plus 4x, add the 6, and you're getting plus 4 equals 0. So if I do the whole little diamond thing, 2 numbers that multiply together to be 4 that add up to be 4. So 2 and 2. So my 2 factors are x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0. So then that gives me an answer of x equals negative 2. That's one way to go about and do that. A second way, and it's not possible on every single problem, but it's a little pattern that you want to try and pay attention to, is if we look at the original again, when we add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. So if I look, this has a common denominator of 3x minus 1. So it's almost like if I subtract the x squared over 3x minus 1 from this side, and I subtract the x squared over 3x minus 1 on this side, over here, that cancels out. So I'm just left with 2. And then on this side over here, it would probably be easier to look at it as if they were next to each other. I'm subtracting those 2. Since they have a common denominator, I can just subtract across up top there. So I'm getting a 2x minus 6 minus x squared, and then it's all over 3x minus 1. You could write this in descending order, so put the negative x squared plus 2x minus 6. I guess it's not mandatory that you do it, but we're just kind of used to writing it in that order. And then I would also say, looking at the number 2, if we think of it as 2 over 1, I now have one fraction equal to another fraction. So you can cross multiply negative x squared plus 2x minus 6 times 1, and then cross multiply 2 times a 3x minus 1 and as we start to simplify that, we're gonna get the same answer that we did earlier. So 6x minus 2 over here, I have the negative x squared plus 2x minus 6. Try getting everything over onto one side. Just because I don't like the negative x squared, I'm going to add it to the right side. So I'm going to get x squared. I'm going to subtract the 2x. So I'm going to get a 4x. I'm going to add the 6, and I'm going to get a positive 4. That takes us to exactly where we were before when we ended up getting x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0, giving us an answer of x equals negative 2. So that's two different ways that you could take a look at the same problem, but whatever you see the best, go with it. The other one I'm going to take a look at is number 5. So we want to factor this denominator. This factors to x minus 3, x minus 2. That second problem where we did the little trick of subtracting things with common denominators, none of these have a common denominator, so it won't work. If we come up with the least common denominator, it's going to be an x minus 3 and an x minus 2. So that's what you want to multiply all three of those terms by, an x minus 3 and an x minus 2. So this whole thing is being multiplied by that. This whole thing is being multiplied by that. That whole thing is being multiplied by that. But you're getting stuff to cancel out. On the first one, the x minus 3's cancel out. So then you're left with just 2 times x minus 2. On the next one, you actually get the x minus 3's and the x minus 2's all to cancel out. So you're only left with what was on top, 7x minus 19. On the third one, you're getting that x minus 2 to cancel out with that. So you're only left with, and it's a minus 5 times, and then it's an x minus 3. So I'm pretty confident when you get to this step, you can solve from there. You would want to distribute each of these and then solve for x. So 2x minus 4, 7x minus 19, minus 5x plus 15. When you go to combine like terms, 2x minus 4, we have a 7x minus 5x, and then a negative 19 plus 15. We're getting 2x minus 4 equals 2x minus 4. Those end up canceling out. So we get like negative 4 equals negative 4, which is true. So that actually means it's a unique situation. We're getting all real numbers except, remember in the beginning, you can't divide by 0. So you would set the denominators equal to 0 because x can't be 2, x can't be 3. So all real numbers except x can't be 2, x can't be 3. So hopefully this helps a little bit with it. As always, message me with any questions. I know it's tough, but